to verse 3. Vayashkem Abraham.
וישכם אברהם בבוקר ויחבוש את חמורו.
Chamoro. Do you want me to correct you or not correct you?
Correct me if I
Yeah, okay.
את שני נעריו איתו ואת יצחק בנו ויבקע עצי עולה ויקם וילך אל המקום אשר אמר לו אלוקים.
Very good, Noam. So we read this pasuk yesterday, but Noam wasn't here, so we read it again now. Avram woke up early in the morning and he saddled his donkey and he took his 2 lads with him and Yitzchak his son. He split the wood of the olah. And he got up and he went to the place that God told him. Now we did part of this Rashi yesterday. We did part of the Rashis here. It said he woke up early. When you get ready to do a mitzvah, you have to wake up early. No, Rai and Aryeh, they want me to call them, so I call them early in the morning, and I get them and I pump them up. If anybody else wants me to call them early in the morning, I can do that too and pump you up. I asked No Rai. I pumped him up this morning. I was like, "Dibarno bi'ivrit," and Aryeh I call. And if you want me to call you early, I could call you. It's no problem. I just call them early in the morning, and they come. They want to come and study and daven. Yeah, but I can still call you.
Yeah, you call me.
Yeah, and then I feel like such an important part of being a successful adult is having a discipline to go to sleep at the same time, so you can wake up early and study and work and do things. I mean, some people are night owls. But that's also good. But you have to be disciplined. You can't just like, okay, I wake up very early. Yeah, I wake up very early. Way before that. By the time I hit 5 a.m. this morning, I'd already written a page of the Torah, a column. That means that I go to sleep early. I go to sleep. No, well, I go to sleep early, but not that early. I mean, what? Yeah, like 10ish. Yeah. So around then, like point is I'm disciplined. I'm going to go to sleep when I need to go to sleep, and I'm going to wake up when I need to go to wake up to serve Hashem. So that's what it is. Avram woke up early in the morning because he had a responsibility, he have a job. The way I look at it, and just sharing you my life, is I don't have enough time left to do the things I want to do. So I have to guard every second to make sure I get it. So that's what it is. If I oversleep, if I sleep like till 4 a.m, I feel like I've wasted so much time. It's just we have a mission in life. And so that's what Avram's teaching us. He woke up early in the morning. You have a job to do. You're not going to oversleep, right? And the Chabadniks wake up late, but that's because they go to sleep very late. Like the Rebbe would see people till like 5 a.m. He would hold his meetings till 5 a.m. So then he slept for like an hour or something. I don't know. The Rebbe didn't sleep, but everybody else needs to sleep. The next Rashi, which we did yesterday, said that Avram saddled the donkey himself. That's because love causes us to do crazy things. Love causes us to do crazy things. Crazy in love. That's the concept. Okay, now up to the next Rashi. He took the 2 men who were with him. Anybody want to read the Rashi? Anybody volunteering to read the Rashi? Okay, I'll read the Rashi. He took the 2 men with him, Yishmael and Eliezer. Who are the 2 men who were coming along? They were Yishmael. Who was Yishmael? Avram's son from his concubine Hagar. And who is Eliezer? Eliezer was the servant of Avram. So he took them along, even though they're not mentioned. But this is a little bit difficult because Ishmael is not a nar here. He's not a young man here. If Rashi says that Yitzchak was 37, why is Ishmael called a nar? And also Eliezer is much, much older. Eliezer was the one who found a wife for Isaac. He's even older. So
Rabbi, why you asked an even more serious question? He said, in the previous chapter, we just kicked Ishmael out. So how is he joining Avram for the Akedah?
Yeah, also Ishmael returned. That's a very good question. Okay, very good question. So excellent question. So anyway, we go on. She'ein adam chashuv rashai latzeit l'derech b'lo shnei anashim. A person who is chashuv, of importance, is not permitted to go out on the journey without at least two men accompanying him. That's something to note. Because if one's going to need to go to the bathroom, and he'll go on his own, the other person will be with him. The Gemara elsewhere, it says, who is a fool? Somebody who goes out at night by themselves. You're not supposed to go out at night by yourself. It's dangerous, so you should be careful about that. So that's what, yeah, you had a question, Judah? Okay, fine. Vayivaka atzeo, and he split the wood of the olah. So Rashi says the word here is vitzalach, means they split. Lashon bikua. Okay, next pasuk. Okay, Judah, you read. You want to? Okay. Not Vayera, but read it again. Vayar. See, the word, the vowel under the resh is a shva. The shva is sometimes read as a na, as a moving, and sometimes as a nach, as a stopping. But in these new chumash, when I was growing up, we had to know all the rules. But in these chumashim that you have, they actually make the shva differently. They print it differently to allow you to see the distinction, so you don't even have to know the rules. But anyway, in this case, it's a shva nach, so it's vayar. Okay, so the third day, and Abraham lifted up his eyes, and he saw the place from a distance. Vayom hashlishi. So the third day, he lifted up his eyes. So the Gemara, let's look at the Rashi. So why did God tell him? Why didn't God show it to him right away? By the way, this is also a tremendous question, because you can walk through all of Israel much shorter. Where was he coming from in this day? Where was he coming from? That took him 3 days to get there. Why did God not show it to him immediately? Because God wanted to make sure that they should not say, who's they? Who's they? Rashi wants them make sure that the nations of the world will not say, that he was bewildered and confused unexpectedly. Good afternoon, Mordechai and Aviva. And he was like, he did it under duress. They wanted to make sure he was of sound mind. Rashi is saying that we want to make sure that God wanted to prove to the world that Avram didn't rush to do this. Sometimes if we rush to do this, that you act with haste. It's not an indication that you would have done it if you were calm. So we did on the third day to make sure that Avram was doing this with all deliberate haste. No, if he had Jeff, it means that if that they did not want them to say, so that they should not say, addled means confused. So they did on the third day, because otherwise they would have said that he was confused. If he did on the first day, they said he didn't have time to consider and reflect on it. This is that's what it means. He didn't have time. If he had done it right away, they would have said he didn't have time to consider and reflect on it. This is the idea. When I first came back when I was a younger rabbi, I was a hothead. Now I'm a little bit more like, basically that's what happens in life. You get older, you usually calm down. I mean, I'm still have my moments, but I was a real hothead when I was like 29. I was a real hothead. So I mean, I used to be able. I could send off an angry email like the best of them. So anyway, my lawyer told me that you're never supposed to send an angry note right away. You have to put in your wait for like 3 days and then send it. He said this is the story of Harry Truman. Harry Truman said before he would send a letter that he was upset with somebody, he would always wait 3 days. And there was one exception, was when his daughter was in a play at the Kennedy Center and she sang, and a reporter wrote a really nasty review. And so that he sent the letter right away to him. Yeah, whatever she did. He said, and they said she was bad, so he wrote off. He wrote off right away there. He challenged him. He said he'd punch him in the face if you ever saw him. Okay. Vayara tamakom. Okay, whatever. Okay, don't let facts get in there. Look up on the Grok story of Harry Truman's daughter and the piano recital and the letter. You'll get the actual story. So Vayara tamakom, and he saw the place. Ra anun anan kashur lahar. He saw the cloud was over the mountain. He saw a cloud affixed to the mountain. So God was showing him that it was the place. Okay, Nahorai, בבקשה, אתה רוצה לקרוא את הפסוק? פסוק Hey. You didn't say yes. I do want to read it. Yes. Okay, thank you. Go on. Ad ko? Excellent. So Avram said to the lads, "Shavu lachem po machamor. You stay back with the donkey." Not so nice. V'ani v'anar nelchad ko. And I and the lad. Why does he keep calling him a nar when Yitzchak, Rashi is going to say, is 37? I and the lad will go up until here. And then we will bow down and we will return to you. I want to just ask you a question. Do you think Yitzchak at this point has any clue what's going on? You don't think so? Because in the next pasuk, Yitzchak says to his father, "Where's the lamb?" No, but he says there's no lamb here. What are we going to bring? So, okay, I mean, let's just bear that question in the back of our minds. Does Yitzchak know? And if he does know, at what point does he know? And if he does know, does Avram know that Yitzchak knows? So we'll bear that in mind. Up to here. So Rashi says it means to the place that's before us. Or alternatively, he cites a midrash, so Rashi says that this is a reference. Avram is saying, God promised me I'm going to have children, so I'm going to see where that will be. Meaning to say, there's a contradiction here. Yesterday, God told me Isaac was going to be my offspring, and now he's telling me to kill Isaac. I'm going to see how this will play out. I believe I'm embracing the contradiction because I believe with emunah, with faith. Vinashuva, Rashi says, and we will return. Nitnabei sheyashuv shneim. He prophesied without realizing it that they'll both return. Such a beautiful Rashi, because he doesn't say I will return. He says we will return. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was some commentaries say that, but it could be unknowingly, but that's not what Rashi says literally. It was, yeah. Okay, read Colby. Bavakasha, Colby. Please read the next pasuk. Do you have the page? Yeah, verse 6. Vav. Excellent, Colby. Let's go. Colby, let's get some energy here. Excellent. But yeah. Yachtav, right. This is a very powerful verse. Vayikach Avram took it at Yahweh. He took the wood for the offering. Vayasem al Yitzchak beno, and he placed them on Isaac his son. Well, vayikach biyado et ha'esh, and he took in his hands the fire. V'et ha'ma'achelet. What's a ma'achelet? That's a knife. Vayalchu shnehem yachdav, and the two of them walked together. So this could be, the fact that they're walking together could be, why does the text have to tell us that they're walking together? So let's see the Rashi. Ma'achelet, the first Rashi tells us, is a sakin. It's another name for a knife. Why? Because it eats the flesh. She'ochelet et habasar. Okay, fine. Alternatively, why is it called ma'achelet? Because the Jews will eat the benefits from its reward. We're still benefiting from that reward. Okay, now there's the pregnant phrase from this pasuk, and the two of them walk together. It's unusual. Why did meaning to say Rashi's only going to comment when there's a question that arises from the text. What question is arising from the fact that it says that the two of them walk together? What do you think is the difficulty in the text? Meanwhile, why? Yeah, could just say Vayochu, and they went. Why did it say they two walked together? We just said the other people aren't going. And then the emphasis on two and also together. Yeah. The text is hinting to a unity, which would go to the question, Noam, that maybe there was, and also we're going to bear in mind that this same phrase is going to appear in two psukim. They had a common mind, they had a common purpose. So look at what Rashi says here. They walked together. Abraham, who knew Abraham, who knew that he was going to slaughter his son, was going with the same joy as Yitzchak, who was unaware of the matter. At this point, Yitzchak had no awareness, Rashi says, and Avram went with the same joy that Yitzchak felt. Imagine how you feel. Your dad takes you with only you. He makes everybody else go back. Just the two of you are walking to do this special service to Hashem. Imagine how Yitzchak must have felt that happiness, that joy. One of the questions that I was thinking about is, who is this a greater challenge for Avram or for Yitzchak? Yeah, Aryeh, please. What's your question? Right. So first of all, it's an excellent question, Aryeh. Your question is, why did it say Avram was joyful? The text doesn't say he was joyful. So Rashi is saying that he was joyful, even though he was going to slaughter his son, because he had the reason why he was joyful is because if you have absolute clarity about what God is telling you to do, a lot of the things we don't do in our life is because we don't have absolute clarity. Like deep down, like our faith is like, well, maybe it's not. Maybe God doesn't really care if I say every word of the Daf Yomi, if I skip a couple words here or there. Maybe God doesn't really care if I come 5 minutes late to the prayers. Maybe God doesn't really care if I forget to say the blessing. So that's, but Avram had absolute clarity. So if we know, like God speaking to us the way God spoke to Avram, then of course he would be joyful at this opportunity. That's what Rashi is assuming, I think. Okay, so now, Aryeh, please, Vakasha, please read the next pasuk. Yeah, Zion. Vaikach. No. Vayomer Yitzchak. The next pasuk. That's what. Excellent. So, hello, Eitan. Vayomer Yitzchak El Avraham Aviv, and Yitzchak says to Avram, his father, Vayomer Avi, and he says, my father. And his father responds, here I am, my son. Which is a very, you cry when you read that. Vayomer, and his son says, Hinei ha'esh vaitzim. Here's the fire in the wood. Vayeyaseh la'olah. Where is the lamb for the olah? It's interesting that Rashi doesn't comment on this pasuk. He doesn't comment. Doesn't comment on it. Even though to me it's like calling out for commentary. Rashi doesn't comment. So let's read the next pasuk. Eitan, would you read it for us? Chet. Vayomer Avraham. Okay, so now it's very interesting that. So let's first read the translation. Avram said, Elokim Yireh said, God will show where the lamb is Olah b'ni, for the Olah, my son. And they both went together. Before we go back to this phrase, they both walked together. How would you read that? How would you translate that pasuk? Would you just translate? Who wants to translate it? No, I'm translate it. You'll use the translation 8. You use the English translation.
Abraham said, God will himself see to the lamb for burnt offering my son. I thought, I'm a little, does he ever address Isaac as my son before these psukim?
That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. So that's an excellent question. I don't remember that he ever did. But Rashi, hello Michael, good afternoon. But Rashi says, because he doesn't want to say that Abraham is lying. So Rashi's reading of this is Yireh v'yivcharlo. God will choose the lamb. Vim ein seh, and if there's no lamb, Olah b'ni, my son will be the offering. So he's saying God will choose the lamb, and if there's no lamb, it will be my son. But now the next phrase in Rashi is V'hafal pi shehivin Yitzchak. Even though Yitzchak understood Shehu olechi shachet, that he was going to be slaughtered, it says Vayalchu shnehem yachtav b'leiv shaveh. At this point, Rashi says Isaac understood that he was going to be slaughtered, and they still went with an equal heart. Let me just, before we stop, let me put this into the grok, because I'm becoming fascinated with the grok. So I'm going to say in Genesis 22, did Isaac realize he was about to be slaughtered? Let's see what they say. Okay, let's see what it says. Hold on. And he says, it says, when he says, here is the fire and the wood, where is the lamb? If Yitzchak didn't know, why ask such a sharp question? So Rashi says he did not yet know. He did not realize he was the lamb. According to, when did he find out? The Midrash says, in this verse, and Rashi also says, he understood the hint. Proof that he knew before the night, 3 days of travel, he carried the wood. He let himself be bound. Yitzchak didn't just resist, he became the first voluntary offering. Yitzchak, a lesson for us, Yitzchak teaches true sacrifice. Okay, but anyway. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeff, you had a question? So they say, according to Grok, Yitzchak knew in verse 8. But that's only, yeah, you had a question? That's next verse. By then, he for sure knew. No, but Rashi says he knew at this point where Abraham answered him. Yes, Aryeh. Oh, that's a tremendous question. Aryeh is asking such a question makes me want to cry. If Yitzchak knew, why did he tie him up? Right.
The Midrash says koshreni yafe, so I won't spasm, and then the shchita will be pasul.
So Rabbi Yosef says that the Midrash says that Yitzchak said to tie me up so they don't go into spasms and thereby make it an invalid slaughter. That Yitzchak asked to be tied still because if you don't slaughter properly, it's not a kosher slaughter. No, Avram did, but Yitzchak said, tie me up well.
So Isaac has to be.
Isaac asked to be tied up. That's what the Midrash says. It's not what the text says.
Just so like he
Right,
would
but
make-
that also explains why we call it Akedat Yitzchak as opposed to like it's Yitzchak was a willing participant and
According to this Midrash, yeah, Judah has the last word. Yeah, Judah. what you say?
I just said like just so he makes sure it was proper. Like
Yeah, that's what Rabbi Yosef said, to make sure it was a proper slaughter. That's quoting the Midrash. Very nice. Okay, we'll stop here and we'll daven mincha. Yashikar.